Welcome to Stoppage Time with IPJ and my man. We're fucking back. It's John Buckets. Buckets, it's been a minute. How are you, buddy?
Ian, my hearing had finally recovered after the beating it took all year long with the war cries. I was finally back to my regular self, and it's gone again. But I'm here. I'm happy to be back, man. I missed you. I missed producer Jeff. I missed the loyal listeners, and I missed cashing some winning tickets. So it feels so good to be back.
Yeah, listen, talking about cashing winning tickets is certainly not something that's happened to me during the preseason Leagues Cup and all the bullshit games that have been going on because my betting has been going rather downhill, should we just put it that way. I'm excited for domestic football to be back. Great to be back alongside you boys as well. Hot Cocoa is going to be very much in the mix this season. For all the loyal listeners out there, we do apologize. We needed a break. We wanted to switch off, and we'll try to do our best to make sure it doesn't happen ever again until next summer. But we got a hell of a season in front of us today, Buckets. Before we get into it, I want to touch upon the fact that most recently I noticed you got a new haircut. You're starting to look like you should be in a war movie, but also you have taken up the sport volleyball, and you've been pretty active on the volleyball front. You've also started a YouTube page, Volleyball Buckets, and one of the videos has over 10,000 views. What the fuck is going on, man?
Welcome back to day 3 of becoming a professional volleyball player, even though I'm starting at the age of 29.
Dude, this is how I unwind. This is how I relax. It's by becoming obsessed with another thing and staying athletic, staying in shape, and just moving. I got to be honest with you, Ian. I was never allowed to play volleyball as a kid. Volleyball was one of those women's sports, as I was told when I grew up. So it was buckets. You're playing basketball, you're playing football, you're playing soccer. Those are your options. Now that I'm an adult, now that I'm 30 in 2 weeks, holy shit, I'm getting old. I'm going to live my life how I want to here. And when I was watching the Olympics, I was so inspired and so terrified by the men's Olympic volleyball team. I was like, I kind of want to be like these guys. They're brutal. They're crazy. And I'm having fun with it so far.
If I mention the names Maverick and Iceman, would you know what I'm talking about?
I would know it only because of that shirtless volleyball scene on the beach. I got you, baby.
Now, is your new haircut and the taking up of volleyball anything to do with Top Gun?
No, it's more to do with the fact that I'm turning 30, and this is my quarter life, midlife, something crisis. Kind of freaking out a little bit about 30 for some reason, man.
Quarter life, if you live to 120 buckets, God save all of us in this world. On today's show, everybody, welcome into Stoppage Time. Of course, we are back. We do have a futures heavy special show for you. We're going to go through the top 4 European leagues because there really are only top 4 European leagues. Buckets, am I wrong?
Am I wrong?
No.
Am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong at all, no.
Yeah, thanks very much. We will continue to then give best bets for each of those leagues that do come back. Of course, with the German league not coming back until next week, there is German Cup games taking place this weekend, so we'll give you a best bet from Buckets during those games. Buckets, I don't want to waste any time, so let's just get into kind of a quick preview, and then we'll get your futures play, then we'll discuss why, and then I'll get your best bet for what's going on, and we'll start with the Premier League this weekend. Before we go any further, I want to tell you the odds for the futures this Premier League season. Manchester City, plus 130 to win the English Premier League. Arsenal, plus 170. Liverpool, plus 650. Chelsea, 1,600. Tottenham, plus 2,500. Manchester United, plus 2,500. And that's as far as I'm probably going to go. So, Buckets, when you look at a list like this, I'm intrigued to see where you are going as to who you think is going to win the Premier League this season.
I'll tell you where I'm not going is Chelsea 1,600. I'm kind of shocked to see them fourth on this lineup. I know that they are in their third rebuilding year, and eventually they will have this great bounce back season, but I'm not convinced at all by this Chelsea squad. I'm staying far away from that, and I'm also staying off of Man City at plus 130. I think eventually we're going to see this Man City dynasty start to slow down, and I'm going to go with the long shot here still, a bit of a crazy one. I love Liverpool at plus 650. I am all in on Arne Slot ball. I am here for the Mohamed Salah bounce back season after a disappointing run last year. And I'm here to finally see Darwin Nunez figure out how to get the ball on target. If that can happen, Liverpool at plus 650 is by far my favorite look on this list.
You're not at all scared the fact that Jurgen Klopp is no longer at the football club. Arne Slot's come in and you think they're going to win the league in his first season in charge?
I do. I'll say that now. You can screen.
I'm going to add more on top of that.
Okay.
Wait a
Let's
minute.
hear it.
Before we do anything, I'm going to add more. They haven't made one signing.
They don't need to make a signing. They kept their good players. They're good to go. Arne Slot is going to revolutionize the Premier League, and I'm here for it, Ian.
Okay, listen, I can't really criticize because the Premier League could go any way, any which way you want to go. Arsenal fans out there are surely desperately hoping that this is their year. For me personally, I can't look past Manchester City, and here are my reasons why. But you have to go carefully with this futures play, and I'll explain why in just a moment. So I'm going for Manchester City at plus 130 on a futures play. I've got a feeling that City are going to cruise to the trophy this season. I'm just throwing it out there. I have a feeling it's going to be easy streak. They did lose Julian Alvarez to Atletico Madrid. They brought in Savio to the club. He was previously a part of the City Football Group. He's now at Manchester City. Get this though. Buckets, they scored 96 goals last season, and I think they will score more goals this season than they scored last season. They lost 3 games last season, which I think, okay, 3 games for even a champion, that's not bad. But get this, they drew 7 games all of last season, and I think they will draw less games this season than last season. So therefore, meaning they're going to win more games. I say Manchester City get to 100 points in the Premier League this season. However, there is a caveat here. Manchester City are going through their court case. They're going through their possible financial irregulations. They're going through certain issues that they've had off the field financially. And at some point, that should start, I think, between now and October. And I think it could be ended between January and the end of this season. So if there is a problem, Manchester City could be deducted points. Let's keep that in the back of your mind. They could be deducted points. So I'm thinking that won't happen this season. I think what will most likely happen is it will be beginning of next season or a financial fine or something like that. Manchester City are just too clever. City Football Group in general, the way they do business is just outstanding. And it's really interesting to me to see that they're even in this predicament. But clearly you can see they've spent way more money than everybody else, and how have they managed to do that? So let's hear it. Let's hear the answers. So what I would say is on this futures play is please, everyone, bet responsibly because Manchester City could be in a bit of trouble. Buckets, your thoughts on my reasoning?
I liked your reasoning a lot better than mine, if I'm being honest. I thought you obviously knew what you were talking about and did your research. I will say, mid-season, maybe look at a live futures play because the future market is open all season long. If we do start hearing murmurs of deductions coming from City, you might be able to sneak a little line on whoever is in second, whether that's Arsenal or whether that's Liverpool. You could have some fun with that mid-season, but I mean, they're the favorites for a reason, Ian. I'm kind of bummed that Alvarez is gone. I really like watching him play for City. He was a fantastic super sub, but he is going to feast at Atleti. He's going to have a great time there.
Yeah, Atleti are getting stronger and stronger. More on that later on. But that's also the reason why I think Manchester City have a great season this year. That's also why I think they get to 100 points, because they know that this is looming over the top of them. So they've got to clean up this season. They have to turn it on. That's my reasoning, and that's what I think is going to happen. So there you have it. Mine and Buckets' first future play is in the books. Buckets going for Liverpool. I'm going for Manchester City to win the Premier League. Buckets is currently sitting at plus 650 on the futures line. I'm sitting at plus 130 with an asterisk because of obviously Manchester City in court this season. Buckets, let's get to your best bet in the fixtures this weekend. Manchester United kick off the Premier League this weekend on Friday against Fulham. And on Saturday, it's Ipswich, the new boys against Liverpool, Arsenal against Wolves, Everton against Brighton, Newcastle against Southampton, Nottingham Forest against Bournemouth, and then West Ham against Aston Villa to cap off this beautiful Saturday. I can't wait for it. Let's go to Sunday and Monday. We've got Brentford against Crystal Palace, Chelsea against the City Boys, Manchester City, and then, of course, Leicester, welcome back into the Premier League against Tottenham. That's a banger on Monday. So, Buckets, what is your best bet for this weekend? Welcome back, baby.
Welcome back. My very first Premier League bet back is plus 140, Ian. I'm not scared. I'm not trying to pad my stats and give you a minus 200. Plus 140. Looking at that match between Ipswich Town and future Premier League winners, Liverpool. I'm going for a same game parlay here. Both teams to score and Liverpool win the match at plus 140. I do this same thing every season in England, and I do the same thing every season in Germany as well. I take these newly promoted sides and I take them not to win their first home game, but they're at least going to score in their first home game. Liverpool probably win this one 3-1, 4-1. They're going to run all over them, but Liverpool has not made their defense any better. And Ipswich Town, knowing they're the heavy underdogs, but playing their first fixture at home in the Prem, they're going to get that one goal to remind their fans that they are here for a reason and to give them something to cheer for in their first match day.
So this is the first win for Liverpool, you think, on the season against Ipswich?
Yep.
Wow, that is a gamble. I'm just going to throw it out there right now. That is a gamble. A team full of confidence who were brilliant, obviously getting out of the championship. They surprised a lot of teams out there. Do they have enough to compete with Liverpool? We will find out this weekend, which I'm really excited for as well. Buckets, let's go to the Bundesliga. Are you ready?
I'm so happy to have Germany back.
And it couldn't be a better Bundesliga season. It really couldn't. This is going to be one hell of a Bundesliga season, and I'll tell you why. The futures right now in the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich are favorites at -200. Leverkusen +275. They are the undefeated champions from last season, currently sitting at +275. And for many people out there, their squad has actually got better than what it was last year. Borussia Dortmund, incredibly, +1100, with Leipzig at +1400. No need to mention anybody else. Buckets, do I even need to ask you where you're going for your futures play here?
No, you don't. But I do want to warn everyone: be careful of Stuttgart. I think even at fifth, there's no chance they're finishing top six in my mind. Losing Girassi is going to be massive for that squad. So just be careful by Stuttgart numbers. But of course, we're going for the Bayern Munich bounce back season, Ian. I don't care if it's -200. I have already played this for multiple units, eating that juice at -200, because this is the season where Vincent Company comes in, where they have these new members like Olise, where they have this team that should be rejuvenated and ready for that immediate bounce back. I am expecting Bayern Munich to do what you were expecting Manchester City to do: 100 points, running over everyone, scoring 4 goals per game. I am expecting absolute violence from the Bavarians here, Ian, and getting back that title that we deserve to have.
Is this the year we finally all make it out to watch a Bundesliga game? Me, you, and Jeff?
Oh, please, please. Your boys are here now, too, so we have to, right? St. Pauli, we got to do something for them.
Yes, and probably take a trip to the Westfalenstadion, obviously Jeff's club, Borussia Dortmund, in October, if I'm not mistaken. So it might be a little too quick for me because obviously things are very hectic and busy at CBS right now. But in March next year, that is when they take a trip to the Allianz to play Bayern Munich. So maybe that's the game we go to watch in the Bundesliga. Maybe we'll do a little trip like me and Jeff did the last time, where we go watch Champions League games and squeeze it in with some Bundesliga games as well. I'm with you here, Buckets, and I can't understand why so many people are so high on Leverkusen, although I did get slapped around a little bit like a little bitch because Leverkusen taught me a lesson last year to never bet against them, but I'm doing it again this year. Leverkusen at +275 tells me that even the bookies don't think they can repeat this, but Bayern Munich have got better. Vincent Kompany's come into the club as the new boss, the new man in charge, and he brings a great deal of authority, experience from the Bundesliga. He was previously a player for Hamburg, and he knows how to win. At Manchester City, he won pretty much everything there is to win. So I'm really intrigued and excited to see how he gets on. So let's just take this into consideration because people need to know this. Leverkusen got the benefit of going undefeated all of last season, as I've mentioned before, because one, Bayern Munich were simply awful, nowhere near good enough. They didn't win a trophy last year. They got knocked out of the German Cup, knocked out of the Champions League later on, and then, of course, didn't even come close to winning the Bundesliga title. 2, Borussia Dortmund were terrible in league play, brilliant in the Champions League, but terrible in league play. Couldn't get it going, inconsistent, lost games, especially lost games at home, which was interesting to me. And 3, RB Leipzig struggled. Yes, you had a Leverkusen undefeated. Yes, you had a Stuttgart getting close, but those teams obviously very surprising. This year, I think all 3 of those teams are better, but Bayern are super improved. If you look at the new players they've brought through the door, Michael Olise comes in at 53 million, João Palhinha comes in at 51 million, and Hiroki Ito comes in at 34 million, even though he has already picked up an injury. I'm going to say it right now, Buckets. I think Bayern Munich will win this league and have won this league by April. I'm with you. I think they crush the points. I think they win both games against Leverkusen. And I think that Harry Kane scores over 40 goals and challenges Robert Lewandowski's Bundesliga record this year. So for me, it's a runaway Bayern Munich victory. I'm glad we agree on that one. What do you think about what I said, though, about the signings coming in and how I think that Leipzig and Dortmund will be better this year?
I think they have to be. I mean, it was definitely kind of a weird season last year, and to a lot of people who are new to our show and new to the Bundesliga, it gave them kind of a weird taste for what the German Bundesliga is. But usually, Leipzig, Dortmund, Bayern Munich, those are the big three that you have to worry about. Leverkusen is really not even in the picture. I do think Leverkusen still have a top four finish, but I'm expecting everyone this year to be significantly better. And I do just think in general, Vincent Company ball is a lot better for Bayern Munich play style. We saw him at Burnley. If he's down 2-0, they are still pressing like mad. If he's up 2-0, they are pressing like mad. That offensive-minded play style fits perfectly with the talent that Bayern Munich now possesses.
We were just talking off air of how crazy Vincent Company was. Maybe I'll send this video, this clip to producer Jeff to squeeze it in here.
Joey, don't fucking test me! Do not fucking test me! I'm enough for the fucking moaning! Enough for the fucking moaning! Play fucking football! What gives you the fucking right to moan about everything? Fucking play!
But Vincent Company basically going berserk at Burnley players last year on a training ground, and a documentary that they did was fucking brilliant. Shut the fuck up and stop moaning! What the fuck are you? I thought it was absolutely brilliant. He was just so aggressive, so angry, authority, like clearly someone you've got to respect. And I can only imagine that the Bayern players are in for a bit of a wake-up call. They will be better this year. So there's no Bundesliga games this weekend, Buckets, because obviously the German Cup starts before the Bundesliga begins. There are some great games to look forward to, including some interesting team names that I'm sure you're very excited to pronounce here. Bayern Munich and St. Pauli both play on Friday. So, Buckets, what's your best bet for this weekend?
My best bet is a 4-team parlay where I am taking your team, my team, Jeff's team, and then Leipzig, who really cares about the Pokal Cup, all to win. So bear with me, guys. Halle versus St. Pauli money line. SSV Ulm versus Bayern money line. RWSN versus Leipzig money line. And I'll be honest, I've heard of most teams. I have never heard of FC Phoenix Lübeck, but they're taking on Dortmund, Jeff, and your boys better handle that game easily. Take all four on the money line. It gets you to plus 100. I know a 4-game parlay for plus 100 is a lot, Ian, but all of these teams should win by 2 or 3 goals.
Yeah, I'm with you here on this one. And I think everyone takes the German Cup incredibly serious. They're all excited, obviously, for Bundesliga play to come back. So, yes, love this bet right there. St. Pauli, I don't know if you noticed this, but last weekend in their final warm-up game, they beat Atalanta 3-0. Yes, that's right. Atalanta by 3-0 at the Millantor in Hamburg. With a new boss in charge at St. Pauli, I was slightly concerned. But after that convincing victory against Atalanta, maybe I should be rather excited. I'm intrigued to see if St. Pauli can just stay up in the division this year. Just stay there, boys, and give me some hope. Love the bet, Buckets. Love the play. Love the futures. There you have it. Myself and Buckets are both on Bayern Munich to get the Bundesliga title wrapped up early. We both think that they'll get to 100 points this season. We both think they'll score a ton of goals and be much more improved than they were last year. Let's move over to Italy and Serie A. Here's a look at the futures plays right now. Clearly one favorite only in Serie A this season. Inter Milan at minus 160. The closest to them is Juventus at plus 370. AC Milan at plus 650. Napoli plus 750. Atalanta plus 2,000. AS Rome at plus 2,500. Buckets, your futures play for the Italian Serie A. Where are you going to go? I mean, there's money to be made elsewhere if you're brave enough.
Yeah, there is, but I am unfortunately not brave enough. I will say that on MGM, it's currently minus 135 for Inter Milan on the money line. So we are seeing a discrepancy in price here if you do want to grab that line, but I'm all over Inter. I mean, Inter won the league last year by almost 20 points, and they were just absolutely devastating. Only 2 losses all season long out of 38 games. They did better per points than Manchester City did. This team is absolutely incredible. They did not lose any talent, and they've gotten better. And as long as they've got Lautaro Martinez, I've got no problem backing them. I did find kind of a sneaky future here, Ian. I'd like your opinion on it. However, what you just said about St. Pauli is going to make this sound a little bit worse. I kind of like Atalanta to finish in the top 4. That's plus 125. So a different way to bet this, but I'm looking at a pretty similar season that we saw last year. Inter, Milan, Juve, Atalanta. Those are going to be the big 4, and those are going to be the 4 I'm watching this season.
Yeah, Atalanta's an interesting one, and I'll tell you why. They signed Retegui. He came in from Genoa. That's a good signing for them. But if I'm not mistaken, Scamacca's out injured, and he's going to be out for a while. So you're losing a very, very big firepower up there. Obviously, Koopmeiner's disappearance as well, and we know there's a ton of injuries that Atalanta are dealing with. So can you get through that early on in the season and then still finish in the top 4? I don't know, because AC Milan, I think, have got better. Inter Milan will win the league as well. I'll get to that in just a minute. Juventus have got better. Plus, you've got a new boss in charge as well at Juventus, which you would imagine will be a bit of a push for them. Antonio Conte is at Napoli now, so there you would expect them to be better. AS Roma, watch out for them. They've done great business in the transfer window. They have been so good the way they've managed to manipulate the market and get the players that they want. Roma's a team to watch out for finishing in the top 4. I think they could even finish in the top 3. That's how high I think of them. You ready for my favorite?
Yeah, but I feel like we're going to be on the same page here, probably.
We have to be on the same page. It's Inter Milan at minus 160 for the futures win as well. Business as usual for Inter Milan for me. I think they took their foot off the gas last season, and maybe I'm not wrong here by saying that they cruised to the title and they just let things relax, and therefore it bit them in the backside when it came to the Champions League. But I think they'll easily be winners again in the Italian league this year. They brought in Davide Fratesi from Sassuolo for 30 million. They managed to get Peter Zielinski from Napoli as a free agent, which is a great piece of business. That is unreal. Carlos Augusto comes in from Monza. Joseph Martinez comes in from Genoa. But the best bit of business, I think, for Inter is getting Mehdi Taremi from Porto for free, which is an absolutely insane move for a club like Inter Milan. So I think this could be another one where Inter cruise to the league and then switch off a little bit. Unless I see a bit of pressure from Juve or maybe even a Milan, I think that this could be another skip and jump to the title for Inter. I'm really excited about this Serie A campaign because I think it's going to be a bit of a battle for top 4 places this year. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Inter clears in his first easily, but second through fifth, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be like we saw last year with Italy. Top 6 are really, really close. Bottom 14 are really, really close. It should be a good season.
I was just want to look at the Roma transfers because I mentioned already that they had made some amazing moves in the transfer window. They brought in Matthias Zule from Juventus, and I think if he was at Frosinone last year, I think he was scoring double-figure goals for Frosinone. Yep. But this might be the signing of the summer, and quietly going about their business is unbelievable. Artem Dovbyk came in from Girona for Roma as their striker. Artem Dovbyk. And look, clearly teaching Buckets a thing or two about the transfer window. He signed from Girona last year. He was tipped to go to Atletico Madrid, but clearly Julian Alvarez has gone to Atletico Madrid, and Artem Dovbyk has gone to Roma. And can only imagine De Rossi's licking his lips now at the possibility of Roma finishing quite highly in the table this season. Buckets, you ready for your best bet?
Yeah, I am. I'm kind of bummed I missed that because I was all over him all season last year for Girona. He's the one that scored that hat trick against Madrid that we were all so hyped about. But no, he's going to do great things at Roma. That's going to be fun.
All right, let's get into the fixtures this weekend. We have obviously a great start. Genoa against Inter, Parma against Fiorentina, AC Milan against Torino, Empoli against Monza. Then we go to Sunday, August 18th. It's Bologna against Udinese, Hellas Verona against Napoli, Cagliari against Roma, Lazio against New Boys Venezia, and then on Monday it's Lecce against Atalanta and Juventus against New Boys Como, which would be a hell of a game for us all to go visit as well, by the way. Just going to say, from Bavaria to Italy, it's not that far of a jump, so maybe we go watch Como, the 3 of us boys. That would be quite a hell of an experience, that one. Cesc Fabregas in charge, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's a lot of ex-professionals who are a part of that Como side, which is pretty cool when it comes to ownership. What's your best bet for this weekend?
Best bet is going right back to that Inter team that we think is going to dominate and beat everyone. I'm on Inter over 1.5 team total against Genoa. This Inter team is a team that every season, they do not need that little bit of a buffer period to get started. We saw last year, their opening game, they won at 2-0 against Monza, followed by 2-0 against Cagliari, 4-0 to Fiorentina, and 5-1 to Milan. This is a team that they are just itching to get back, and their competitive games back, as soon as they start, they run over sides. I know that Genoa is one of those teams that's a little bit tricky at home. They tend to be a bit more defensive minded, especially playing a team as good as Inter, but it does not matter, Ian. I've got Inter scoring at least 2 here and winning this first game pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm with you there, and I think that obviously the loss of big players for Genoa makes them a little bit vulnerable, but Inter just improving so drastically. I don't see anything other than them getting off to a hell of a start. I love the bet. Let's get to La Liga because this is going to be rather tasty. You ready for this?
Oh, this one's going to be tough. Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, listen, the biggest news around La Liga has been the signing of Kylian Mbappe. Let's get into the futures of La Liga. Real Madrid minus 250 by a landslide. Are they the favourites? Barcelona is the closest team at plus 350. Atletico Madrid now at plus 900 with Julian Alvarez. There's always that possibility they could have a hell of a season. Real Sociedad, Girona at plus 2,500 alongside Athletic Club Bilbao. So, Buckets, where are you going on your future play? I can only imagine we're going on the same team.
Yeah, there's only one way you can go. My word, this Real Madrid team is going to absolutely eviscerate everyone they play this season. It is not going to be a fun season if you are anything but a Real Madrid fan. And I know that minus 250, it's not sexy, it's not a fun number, but it's the only number that you can take here, Ian. So I've got to look at that. I will say, this is a weird one. Here's another future for you. You can bet league winner without Real Madrid or Barcelona, and Atleti is minus 120. So to get third place in the league, Atleti at minus 120, I am absolutely hammering because I think this team will beat Barcelona. I've got Real Madrid, Atleti, Barca. And so the fact that I can get that line at minus 120, again, it's a long time for a future, but I'm expecting a very, very good season for Atleti here.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy considering Hansi Flick is the new boss in charge of Barcelona, and then Julian Alvarez is just signed for Atletico Madrid. Plus, they've signed multiple players at Atleti. They've really drastically improved. However, I'm with you. I'm going for Real Madrid to win the title at minus 250. I mean, there's only one word I need to say. Not even one word, a name. One name I need to say, and that's Kylian Mbappe. If you think it's going to be a vacation for him at Real Madrid, then think again. This guy's going there to win fucking trophies. This guy wants honors. He wants to win games, titles. He wants to be someone who cleans up in soccer. That's why he's at Real Madrid. So La Liga's a total bank for me. European champions last season, and I wouldn't put it past them to win the Champions League again this season. They just simply have the best squad of players in the Champions League this year. All across Europe, best squad. The only thing I will say, though, is that they lost Toni Kroos. He is a huge piece of this puzzle. He's gone now. He's retired from football. He was the guy that basically was the link between attack and defense, the midfield and attack. He was the link. He was the guy. He was the one that kept it all together. And with that experience, tough to replace that. So I'm really intrigued to see who steps up in that midfield role and becomes the leader, because they need to have that leader in that area. But I just think that Kylian Mbappe just changes this team. I feel a bit sorry for some of the players who did so well for Real Madrid, including Rodrigo. I can only imagine he's going to get pissed off this year. But I would imagine Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham are going to have a hell of a season this year. Because I see them winning the league easily this campaign. And I think Kylian Mbappe is going to thrive at Real Madrid. Your thoughts?
I agree with you. This could be one of those seasons to where in all the big leagues, the big team absolutely dominates. We could see Bayern Munich done in April. We could see Real Madrid done in April. We could see Inter done in April. But I think this is going to be ugly. Ian, I do want to ask you, to be the top goal scorer in La Liga right now, Kylian Mbappe is minus 200. Is it even worth looking at anyone else, or is he just going to kind of run away with this?
I don't think that there's going to be much competition, but the fact that Julian Alvarez arrived at Atletico Madrid, this is a goal scorer. This is a killer. And I can only imagine he's going to be 20 plus goals this year. I can only imagine. So Kylian Mbappe, yes, but the question becomes, does he play every game? Do they put Rodrigo in? Do they rest Mbappe? Do they move things around? Do they, you know what I mean? You just don't know. I can only imagine he's going to want to be top goal scorer. But last year, the goals were spread around. I mean, Jude Bellingham finished top goal scorer for them last year in La Liga. And if Jude can score, 19 goals in La Liga last year, the Kylian Mbappe can score 40. I mean, that's just how good he is. So I just don't see anyone else having a sniff. But Julian Alvarez at Atleti makes things a little bit more interesting. Hey, Buckets, before we move on and get your best bet for this weekend, can I just give you a reported story that came out over the last 24 hours that there's been a 5-year contract offered to Vinicius Jr. worth €1 billion to play for Al Ahly by the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, the PIF. And I'm just going to break it down for you because I love doing this shit. That would break down to 3.8 million euros a week. That would break down to 549,000 euros a day. That would break down to 22,800 an hour and 381 euros a minute if he decided to take that contract. 1 billion euros over 5 years. They've also reportedly offered him an ambassador role for the 2034 World Cup if he decides to do so. And if he wants to, he can work in Saudi Arabian football after he retires. So $1 billion, ambassadorship, Saudi Arabia, and the possibility of a job for life. Buckets, something like that might interest you, no?
Yeah, it would. But also, if you're getting $1 billion, you don't need a job after football. If you get $1 billion, you better never work a day again in your life. And this is a very tough one for me because I did see this report and I had people asking Buckets, would you, is it about the money or is it about the dynasty that you're creating? And I was like, for me, I'm probably taking the billion, Ian. I've got no problem saying that. I'm also not a professional footballer. I don't know what it's like to be in this position. I'm very curious to see what happens because that is a very tempting number. But I don't know what he's going to do. I don't have a lean either way. I have no idea. I assume he's going to stay because Mbappe's there, but $1 billion's $1 billion, man. That's tough.
He's not going anywhere, dude. This guy's going to be a
No.
billionaire anyway. At the end of the day, they make too much money right now, and by the time, if you take into commercialization as to what he can do off the field and what he does on the field, probably makes 200 million a year anyway. So he's not far away from that over 5 years. If I'm talking about, I mean, this is euros compared to dollars, so not too far away when it comes to the translation of cash. Buckets, let's get to your best bet real quickly before we get the fuck out of here. This weekend, Athletic Club against Getafe on Thursday, Real Betis against Girona on Thursday, Friday, Celta Vigo against Deportivo Alaves. Then we've got Las Palmas against Sevilla. On Saturday, we've got Osasuna Leganés. We've got Valencia against Barcelona, which is a cracking game. And then on Sunday, we've got Real Sociedad against Real Vallecano and Mallorca against Real Madrid. And on Monday, Real Valladolid against Espanyol and Villarreal against Atletico Madrid. Apparently, they wanted to spread these games out over 5 days for all of us betting experts. Buckets, let's get to your best bet for this weekend in La Liga.
There's no way I'm doing anything other than going for Real Madrid. Mallorca versus Real Madrid, a same game parlay of Real Madrid money line plus over 1.5 goals. Ian, that's minus 105. I think Real Madrid could score 3 or 4 here. I know that Mallorca is a very defensive side, especially at the beginning of last season. They played for these cagey 0-0s, and they have no problem in going against the Madrid side and playing with 10 in the box and praying they can hold on. But frankly, I don't think it matters this season. I think Real Madrid are going to rip this game open in the first 20 minutes. And as soon as they're up 1-0, it's going to force Mallorca to try to do something. And this game's going to get very ugly. I might ladder this one, but the fact that I can get their money line and over 1.5 right now at almost even odds is ridiculous to me.
Yeah, they've also got a new boss in charge, Mallorca, in Yagoba Arrasate. He comes in, if I'm not mistaken, it was Javier Aguirre who was in charge. He's now in charge of the Mexican national team. So things have moved for Mallorca, so very difficult for Real Madrid to even have a sniff in that game. Love this bet. I mean, how on earth is that minus 105 for over 1.5 goals with Real Madrid on the money line? That's absolutely crazy. So great find there, Buckets, and that to me is a no-brainer, as I shall be tailing. Buckets, we are so back, baby. It's great to be back. It's great to see you. It's great to have producer Jeff just doing the magic once again. You know, it feels like something magical is happening this year. And with us back now, we're going to need our loyal listeners to be more prominent than ever before. We need you to like and subscribe and share the show as much as you possibly can. I love the comments, so please jump in the comments. Let us know what you've been doing this summer. Let us know what you think for your futures play this summer in each league. I'd love to hear that. And of course, in the next episode, I'll try to get as many comments as I possibly can out there, but continue to share as much as you possibly can. Buckets, it feels good to be back. Woo!
It feels so good to be back, man. I'm going to be pumping out the show constantly. So if you follow me on the social medias, I will not apologize in advance for the spam, as I want to get out the best sports betting show, not soccer betting show, the best sports betting show on the planet. We want this to reach as many viewers as we can. So leave the comments. Tell me you think that I'm cute. Ask me if I'm single. Do whatever you want, Ian. We are here for the long haul, baby.
I'm intrigued because you just opened a real big door for me to have some fun with you, Buckets, and I'm wondering how long that happiness is going to last when you opened that door. Hot Coco is going to play a big role this year as well. Going to try and get her involved in the social media side of things. She's quite excited about that. And plus, of course, we'll have her back for her Major League Soccer plays when MLS does come back. We're in Leagues Cup play right now, which has absolutely torn my wallet to shreds when it comes to betting units. Buckets, fucking love you. Producer Jeff, love you too. Thank you so much for everything. To the loyal listeners out there, we apologize. We've been away for so long, but we are back. We are so fucking back. That was a heavy future show. We'll be back every single week with a show for you leading up to the weekend. There will be midweek games, Champions Leagues coming up as well. We'll have a future show for that as well. But we'll be doing our very best for club football this season. We're going to be as active as we possibly can on social media. And pretty much we're going to be in your fucking face. If you don't like it, fucking deal with it, because that's exactly what we're going to do. So most importantly, before anything else, make sure you absolutely have it!
stoppage time.